What's going on, everybody? Welcome to another transformational edition of the Global Leaders Roundtable, where voices rise, leaders converge, and kingdom movements are born. Listen, I'm your host, Kenyon R. Dudley, global speaker, leadership strategist, and founder of this intentional international platform that's dedicated to raising up voices of purpose and healing and impact. For those of you who are just getting an opportunity to know who I am, thank you so much for taking the time to listen in and connecting with me. My life's mission is simple. It is to say something that transforms someone's thinking and introduces them to God. This platform is a sacred place for leaders and reformers and visionaries, those who understand that breakthrough requires bold conversations. And if you're watching right now on our YouTube channel, thank you so much for being over there at the TGLR network or the Global Leaders Roundtable network. Why don't you go ahead and like this video, tag a purpose-driven woman or man in the comments, and then I want you to subscribe to this YouTube channel so you do not miss what is up ahead. We've got so many great things that's coming. You don't want to miss it. Listen, before we dive into our conversation today, our fireside chat, here are some quick announcements. Some of you who have been following me, you know what we are already doing here at the Global Leaders Roundtable movement. It's so much going on, and I want you to make sure that you are a part of it, that you don't miss a beat of it. We have the Global Leaders Virtual Summit that's coming up September the 20th through the 21st. We're going to be talking about global kingdom leadership. We have over 65 speakers from all over the world, guys. I can't stress this enough. Literally, we have folks from South Africa, from London, Australia, Germany, Canada, all over the United States and abroad. We're going to be coming and sharing their big idea, their great strategy, leadership tips, things that you need to know that you could implement in your everyday leadership journey, in your everyday life to be effective and be the most that God has called you to be. You do not want to miss it. Tickets are on sale right now. Go to bit.ly/TGLR Virtual Summit. Now you'll find where you can get your tickets for this 2-day event. You're going to have an all access pass. Listen, you cannot beat the price that we have on the tickets for a 2-day all access pass. We've got so many phenomenal things coming up, and you do not want to miss that. All right. I want to jump into our conversation. I think that today it's a necessary conversation to have. So many people in today's culture, in today's world, need to master or are trying to master the art of surrender. Today's guest is a radiant woman of faith whose presence speaks healing and whose voice inspires wholeness. Alexia Rivera is an entrepreneur, speaker, model, and actress. She is deeply committed to helping women reclaim their radiance by focusing on mental, physical, and spiritual wellness through godly principles. Listen, her life's work is rooted in the belief that true healing comes through surrender, not striving, and that God's love is the greatest agent of transformation. Guys, help me welcome a new friend of mine, uh, the beautiful, the bold, Alexia Rivera. She's coming right now to the virtual round table. Welcome, welcome, my friend. How are you?
I'm doing well. Thank you for having me here.
Yeah, I'm super excited, as I've expressed to you already. Excited about you coming. Thank you so much for taking the time to have this discussion with me. I think it's a very necessary discussion. We are all on the journey of trying to surrender more, right?
That's right.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Um, Talk to me. We're going to be talking today. I'm actually going to bring it up on the screen here. We're going to be talking today about total surrender, healing the mind, the body, and the spirit through God's love. Now, I have my own testimony when I came into a deeper understanding and clarity of God's love. And let me tell you, Alexia, it wrecked me in a good way for about 2 good weeks. I couldn't stop crying. I couldn't stop worshiping. My wife, my kids, everybody was like, "Are you okay?" But when I came into the contact and the understanding of God's love, it really transformed me. It did something to me in a great way. How did you get to this place of talking about total surrender and healing through God's love?
Well, your testimony is beautiful. I just wanted to share that
Thank
because
you.
that happened to me too when I encountered God. I was talking about God for a long time.
Yeah.
So, from my own experience, I actually went through a lot of
Mm.
sickness, depression, anxiety, and it got to the point where I couldn't take it anymore. I came to God and I got on my knees and I said, God, I can't.
Yeah.
Sickness was ongoing. It was every I was every month that
Wow.
if it was one thing, it was the next one. And I was just losing so many opportunities. Work, I couldn't enjoy myself. I couldn't be out and about with my family and my friends. So that sickness was a huge obstacle, and I saw other people like living their lives, and I was like, what's wrong with me? Like, why am I always at the hospital? Why am I always taking
Yeah.
medication? So it was that breaking moment where my health was very at risk, where I came to God and I said, God, I want you to take over, be the lead.
I know so many people with the same testimony, right? That they were always sick, they were always in the hospital, in the ER, and it seemed like just a spirit of infirmity that they had to battle. And I remember there was actually a season in my life where I'm like, wait a minute, what's going on? It's like every other day something was happening and I wasn't feeling well. When you came into the love of God, what was that moment like that kind of radicalized your healing and your health?
Well, the first one that it was 100% for me, it was crystal clear. It was the
Mhm.
peace. The peace that I felt because anxiety was it took over me all
Wow.
the time, every single day. I felt it. I was out and about just doing nothing. Nothing was going on and I felt my heart beating so fast, and I didn't know. I was like, why am I feeling so nervous out of
Yeah.
no reason, for no reason? So when I started my relationship with God, that went away. Like he literally swept anxiety away from me,
Yeah.
and I felt it. I was able to feel normal. So
Right.
peace, not only within me, but also in my mind. And every time that I went to sleep, I went to bed, I woke up feeling refreshed. Whereas before, I had a lot of nightmares.
Mm.
So I was restless.
Yeah.
So after that, I said, you know what? The peace of God is healing. It's definitely the medicine that I needed, and I'm experiencing it right now.
Yeah.
Nobody else was able to help me that way in that way. So I know for me it was peace, the peace that surpasses all understanding, the first um sign that healing was taking place.
Yeah. What, if you don't mind me asking, what part of the world are you in? Because I think a lot of times people don't realize that even environments and culture and things like that kind of add to our stress and add to our anxieties. And I heard you say there were moments where you were like, I don't even know why I'm anxious. I don't even know
Correct.
what's going on. What part of the world are you in? And how did that play a part, if any, in your anxiety?
Yes, I believe that it does. So I am located in Florida, but my
Okay.
background is from Venezuela and
Right.
Colombia.
Okay.
So there's a lot of traditions and cultural stuff going on back in
Mm-hmm.
South America that can definitely it can open doors,
Right.
spiritual doors, and I think that's what happened to me. That it caused a lot of problems since I was a little girl.
Mm.
So it'll just everything is just escalated. There was one open door back in Venezuela, and it's just kept on getting worse, I'll
Right.
say.
Right. Yeah, I think that's was necessary to bring into the conversation because so many people, especially those who believe they have callings on their life, they have gifts, they have talent, they have been called to the forefront of whatever industry or system that God has placed them in. They believe that they've been called, but it's been this warfare, this wrestle. Like you said, sleepless nights, restlessness, anxiety, all types of things. And I think people really need to stop to really understand that a lot of that comes from open doors. And sometimes it's not that we even went and opened the door. It could be through generations past that a door was opened. And now, not only am I dealing with anxiety, but all the other men in my family are dealing with it, or whatever the case may be. When you came into the love of God, the peace of God, was it almost immediate, or has it been like a gradual thing over time that you begin to feel the peace of God and experience it and know that it's there?
That's actually a great question because I'm
Hmm.
pretty sure a lot of people wonder the same thing. Like
Yeah.
if they have a problem, they want to know if they're gonna see the his answers right
Mhm.
away or gradually. So to answer your question, I will say that it has been both. I
Okay.
have seen God work in two different ways. I have experienced sickness that he has taken it away, like right, yeah, right in the moment, like miraculously. Like, wow, I know it was him because I got the doctor's report and it's gone, like within seconds. Or I've seen the changes little by little that I'm like, when did that happen? Because I've been working on this for so long and I remember having it like 2 months ago. And I don't remember when it left because I feel like I don't have it anymore. So it's like you don't even know at what moment it has happened, but I have experienced both. So I guess it's up to God, however he wants to heal the person. It's up to
Right.
him, but it's definitely it can happen both ways.
I love how you said that. It's up to God how he wants to heal a person. I also believe that it's up to the person on how you want to yield to it as well. And so
Mhm.
it's totally going to be his timing, but we've got to trust his timing no matter what. And we've got to show up no matter what. I can remember that there were times, even in my life from a kid growing up in I'm based in Dallas, but growing up in Atlanta, um, there's a certain type of spirit that kind of reigns over the city, and it definitely affected my family. So it was a lot of trauma, a lot of chaos, a lot of that. We were believers in Christ, And we had a lot of preachers and things like that too, a lot of gifted people in our family. But we were traumatized people because of a lot of things that we had seen and experienced. And I can just remember, you know, God really bringing me into a moment of saying, I'm going to take you on a journey, right? And you're going to have to trust me. But I'm going to take you on a journey to heal you from this anxiety, to heal you from this spirit of fear, to heal you from all of these things. And let me tell you, it took years. It took years to kind of break off. But one of the main things, and I say this because it's going to lead to my next question, but one of the main things that God used in my life to break the spirit of fear, to break anxiety and you know, illness and all of that, was challenging me to do things that I otherwise would have never done in my own self, like challenging me to jump out there and try something, move, you know, across the country and live in an area that I would have never lived in without family, leaving family behind, doing different things. For you, what have those things been that has helped you sustain peace, sustain your freedom? Has it been facing giants, you know, in a way of you know, overcoming challenges head on? How does that look for you? How does that look for Alexia?
Well, I just want to say this again that I love your questions are amazing. Just want
Thank
to put
you.
it out there.
Thank you.
Because those questions make you like really think about it,
Yeah.
the beauty of the whole journey, the process. So for me, it has been very, I would say probably you have to be very strict with
Yeah.
guarding yourself, being disciplined,
Yeah.
guarding your eyes, your ears, everything that you have. Protect yourself. You have
Yeah.
to even if you don't feel like it, you have to get closer to God, because God is always going to be there.
Mm,
But we are the ones who distance ourselves from Him. So forcing myself to pray, to read the Bible, to talk to Him. So
yeah.
it's the daily practice. I have to be conscious about that, because if I'm not, then life itself, entertainment, and all the different things that try to keep us separated, right, from
Yeah.
Him, are going to take place, are going to take priority. So you have to definitely be disciplined and put Him number one,
Hmm.
for you to be able to maintain that peace that He can offer, to experience all the blessings and the
Yes.
gifts that He offers.
I totally agree with that. I mean, you know, for some people, you are out here and you're listening right now and you're saying, "Wow, you know, that's an area that I have to grow stronger in, that I have to mature in, the discipline." Because a lot of times we ask God for healing, we ask God to deliver us, and the truth of the matter is, deliverance comes through discipline in so many ways, in so many forms. I see here that you talk about reclaiming radiance a lot. Let's talk about that. What does that mean to you, especially for women who have lost themselves emotionally or physically or even spiritually? What does it mean to reclaim your radiance?
So I truly believe that we are the image of God, and we're to represent that, the light. And we all have the light within us. And once God starts to cleanse us and to transform us, we're going to start radiating by nature. And that's what happened to me. Like my skin, once I started to sleep better, to think better, to eat better, I saw a transformation in my skin, or my hair. I
Yeah.
was smiling more, my eyes were brighter. So I was like, okay, I'm radiating.
Yeah.
I know, but all that was covered before by fear and anxiety. And I know that there's a lot of people out there, especially women in business, because that's my main focus, women in
Mhm.
business, to really take time for themselves and be conscious about where they are in their lives. Are they radiating? Are they prioritizing themselves, and their relationship with God, to walk and to live in a purposely in a way that you're not only doing your purpose, but you're also healthy.
Yeah.
You're working, you're a mom, doing other stuff. You're a business owner, but you're not extremely tired all the time.
Yeah.
You're not depleted. You're you're energized.
Yeah.
You have time for yourself. You have time to read, or to read scriptures and to connect with God. And
Mhm.
that's the only way that I think, when you do all those, you take some time, right, to connect with God and do those practices. That's how God is going to renew you,
Yeah.
renew your mind, your body, your spirit, and you're going to automatically start showing that other people are going to see it, your energy. You're going to start vibrating
Yeah.
differently. Because
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure you've seen people that have experienced depression and anxiety, and you
Oh yeah.
see that on their faces. You see, like, they don't have to tell you anything. They don't have to tell you they're having a problem. You can just see it in their face and their eyes. It's simple. So I really wanted, my purpose is for women to look more beautiful as God created them, by staying connected with Him.
I totally have seen. I'm thinking just as you were speaking, like I literally was just talking to my wife about this last night as we were riding, and I was like, so much of what you go through and what you experience in life shows up on your countenance, right? It shows up on your face. It shows up in the way of your posture and things of that nature. And I can tell with so many people what they are experiencing because of how they are presenting, to the world. And so you're so right about this radiance and how it shows up in people and on people's faces. When you take the time, like you said, to really get with God and connect with Him, you are essentially plugging into the power source,
That's
right?
correct.
The power source of all source. And you're getting your energy and your vitality and all of that from the source that is God. To those people who struggle with taking time, how have you really found the discipline to plug into the source? Is it just one of those things where you just have to get up every day and say, nope, I'm doing it? Is it that you set timers on your phone? How do you stay disciplined with getting that time with the source?
Well, it kind of goes back to the one of the questions that you asked before. How do you stay disciplined with God? And because when I experienced the healing, I was like, I want to continue to experience this. So every time, every day, I'm like, I want to stay where God took me to. I love this space of peace. I love the space of clarity.
Hmm.
So I'm like, why not? If I have to force myself to remember, or maybe remember to, read a Bible scripture like early in the morning, I'll do it, even if it's like less than 5 minutes. I know that I did it. So I feel good about myself because I know how it feels to feel. I know how it feels to be at peace and be connected to the source. I experienced it many times. So for me, it's like, this is what I like. I love it. So I guess, having that experience, the raw experience with the presence of God,
Right.
changes you. Like,
Yeah.
that it doesn't matter what you go through, He's the one. He's the one that you come back to. There's nobody else. So I guess your mind changes, rewires.
Right.
There's a transformation that happens within you, that you don't think the same way. You don't go back to the world like when you're tired, and you need an answer. You remember Him. for everything.
Yeah.
And if you
And
don't have time, like somebody that has been like completely transformed
mhm,
will be able to understand it.
yeah,
Especially if you've tried it all, then you cannot say, hey, this doesn't work. It is, that that's the medicine that you need, so why not
yeah,
reuse it when you need it? Or even when, because you don't have to wait until you're sick, you don't
mm,
have to wait until you have problems. You can It's even better to maintain that relationship every single day, because when the trials actually happen,
yeah,
then you're going to be equipped, you're going to have the tools, you're not going to freak out and say, oh my god, what am I going to do? you know who's in control.
mm,
You may feel anxious or something, because it's natural. We'll have emotions and feelings, but it's not going to take over. You're not going to be out of control. So I think that once you experience that deep transformation from God, then your mindset, your lifestyle is going to change, and it's not going to be as hard to come to him.
yeah,
And if you have to set reminders, maybe you do, like everybody's different. Like for me, I love connecting with God in the morning because I'm a morning person.
mhm,
Reading the Bible before I look at my phone. Maybe other people rather do it in the afternoon, in the evening, whatever works for you.
mhm,
But set aside some time every day. And that's how it grows every day, your relationship with him every single day, just a little bit. Even if you have to say, God, thank you for
yeah.
waking me up, being grateful, doing something. I think anything helps.
Anything helps. I mean, you just said something too on this gratefulness and this gratitude. I mean, even if it means walking through your day and just finding different things to be thankful for. And at first it's going to be hard, but if you force yourself to look for certain things, big or small, and you say thank you God throughout your day, you're connecting to the source, in that way as well. And you'll find that you're more energetic, and that you're more happy about life, and what's happening in your day, just because you're coming from a grateful perspective. This is my last question, Alexia. You work with women in business, you're a leader in this way. How have you uh, helped women find themselves again and walk this walk of healing? Um, and what would you say to a woman leader right now who's watching in and they feel depleted? What would be that one thing that you would leave them with, that would help them move forward, into the fullness of who they are?
Yeah, definitely. I will say that fear and anxiety is not who they are, is not their identity. Because I remember that for me in the past, I thought it was normal. It was okay to feel
Right.
the way I felt. So I just went on with my life. But that's a lie. That's a lie. So that's
Yeah,
not who you are.
so true.
So, some of the practices that we have is that we have biblical readings.
Yeah.
We also have mindset practices, because you have to work on the mind. The mind is so important. So, we have to
Mhm.
meditate on scripture, and we have to memorize. We have to say it out loud, different scriptures. And so that's the second one. And also, because we focus on the physical, taking care of the physical body as well when it comes to exercising, eating
Right.
healthy, being more conscious on the choices that we make. And we put it all together. So those three areas target the person, and that way that you can be in alignment with God's
Mm.
original design of wholeness, right? And experience that peace. You're gonna feel it. You're gonna feel it, and you are going to be transformed. So we target those three areas, and we just stay consistent.
Yeah, for sure. Guys, this is what I'm talking about. These are the things that we need to know, that we need to be reminded of, And these are the things that we need to be held accountable for. Alexia Rivera is doing that type of work with leaders, women leaders, all over. I want you to connect with her. Alexia, why don't you tell people how to connect with you, and what might be coming up next for you guys?
Yes, so you can go on all social media platforms and find Radiance with Alexia, and you're gonna find a lot of material there. On Instagram, you can go on Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok, but on Instagram, there's more resources. I have a PDF file with information, free information. You can also make an appointment if you want a consultation and a one-on-one meeting. And I'm always trying to provide material and resources to people and bring them closer to God. So you can find me everywhere under Radiance with Alexia.
Guys, connect with Alexia right now. There is so much I believe that you could receive from the work that she is doing. She's glowing, and I know that you want to glow as well. So connect with someone who is doing the work, who's on the journey of healing, and who's on the journey of living their best life through Jesus Christ, and through his love. Guys, this has been absolutely amazing. Alexia, thank you so much for just taking a little bit of time to talk with me and to share your testimony and your journey of overcoming. It has been most effective, and I believe that it's going to help others transcend beyond limitations that have been trying to hold them captive. I appreciate you for being here.
Thank you so much for the opportunity.
Absolutely. Hang tight, Alexia. Guys, this has been yet again another phenomenal conversation. I am super happy that we had the time to talk about this with Alexia. Again, thank you to Alexia for reminding us that healing doesn't begin with hustle, it begins with surrender. Your words today, Alexia, have poured life and hope into the hearts of women and every leader everywhere who has listened in. To everyone listening right now, let this be your sign. You are not too far gone. You are not too broken. There is healing, there is wholeness, and there is purpose waiting on the other side of your surrender. Make sure that you give it your all every single day, that you give it your all, that you give your all to the one who could transform your life. I'm Kenyon R. Dudley, and this has been the Global Leaders Roundtable.